Hi guys, and welcome to another super secret Patreon Q&A. Today guys is Monday. I know you're going to watch probably this on Wednesday, but happy Wednesday. So Ed and I and Jazz had just lunch. We had lunch and we ate tacos, so I'm ready to tackle this beast because you know guys that I always try to answer all of your questions. So let's do this. Actually this morning Ed and I took lots of pictures for the planner and the planning range that we're about to launch on my shop, and since we're going to launch it while we're away in Japan because we traveled to Japan this Sunday, we decided to do this insane photo shoot before we leave guys. The rules for this Patreon super secret Q&A is very simple. The rules are the same ones as always. I'm going to leave a question menu down below in the description box so you can hear the answer for a particular question if you guys don't want to watch the entire video. And also this is going to be a visual podcast in the sense that I am not going to show anything unless I specify. So you can do whatever you want while I answer these questions. So you can go out for a run or clean your bedroom or office or draw or do whatever you want. So don't worry, there's not going to be any inserts. And let's do this. The first question is from Aiko, and she says, "Hello friend, how are you today?" I am very good. I'm very motivated. My name is Aiko, pronounced as I and co, as in company. I noticed you get stressed when you feel you don't pronounce our names correctly, so I kind of want to help out on my name. Thank you, Aiko. Thank you so much. Anyway, hello from the sunny Philippines. Oh my god. I hope you get to visit here. We have the loveliest of beaches. Happy to be your tour guide when you decide to visit. It's my first time to be in the known of the super secret Q&A, so I have several questions. By the way, welcome Aiko. I hope you don't mind. One, I joined the Patreon party and it was a blast. I didn't quite get where you got the cute t-shirts. Do you have the website? So the t-shirt I wore for the live stream is from this brand. It's going to be backwards guys, but it's called Yuck Fun, and they are a couple. They are both illustrators, and they did a store takeover the other day at High Store. So they were selling lots of products like tote bags and prints and stickers and like pencil cases and t-shirts and jumpers. So I don't know if they have the t-shirts available on their website, but I'm going to leave all the information down below in case I find all of that, and all of the links that I can mention in this video. But the brand is called Yuck Fun, in case you were wondering. 2, what type of scanner do you have? Do you mind sharing the model and the brand? So it's actually EdScan. Let me see the brand. I don't know if you can hear guys, but it's an Epson Perfection 4490 photo, it says. I'm going to leave the link down below in case you were wondering. I think it's a great scanner. We brought it all the way from Chile, and I do all the scanning there. I mean, that's a very specific scanner because it's meant to be used for film, for like actual rolls of film. But I use it to scan my illustrations, and I think it's pretty decent and great. But I'm going to leave the link down below. 3, which cities have you lived in? I know you were in Chile. I'm guessing Santiago, Berlin, and Hastings, or are they more? What made you decide you want to move every time you move? And do you feel you're already settled in Hastings, or do you feel like you will want to move again sometime in the future? This is an excellent question, Aiko. So Ed and I lived in Chile because we were both born there. And then we have lived in Cologne, which is also in Germany. We lived there for 3 months, and then we moved to Berlin, then we moved to London, and then we moved to Hastings. The reason why we moved so much is because Ed and I are trying to find the place for us, our home. And Berlin was great, but the problem was that the the language barrier was so big. Even though the city was amazing, the language barrier was very intense for us. So we decided to move. London was great. We finally were capable to communicate and make jokes. But the problem is that London was too expensive, and we weren't enjoying the city as much as we would have wanted to. So we now moved to Hastings, and we love Hastings. The issue that we have with Hastings, though, is that Ed is not working here. I mean, it's not that I'm working here, but at least I can work whatever I want, as long as I have a good post system. And since the UK has an excellent post system, we can live here in Hastings and work. But the problem is that Ed is not working as a playwright, because Ed is he's a playwright. So the thing is that we love Hastings so freaking much, but he is not being able to perform career-wise. And so we feel like, even though we love Hastings a lot, we might move in the future. And this is something that we haven't discussed with anyone, because we have no idea where we would like to move yet. So, but we know that Hastings, in some way, it has some like end date. We're not going to stay here forever, which is really sad, because we really enjoy it here, but it's really hard to make it work because Hastings is a very small city, and the playwriting scene is not huge. The theater scene is not huge here, and it's very hard to perform, like to be a playwright, even in London. So we're just trying to figure out what to do and like where to live. That's the thing. We're in constant searching of a home. So that's why we have moved so much, and we also enjoy living in different cities, and it's very, I don't know, it's quite an adventure, especially when you adapt really easy. The thing is that we're very tired of moving, Aiko, and we would love to find a place in which we can settle, at least for a couple of years, because we haven't lived more than 2 years in one place. So that's intense. But no plans. I mean, maybe the US, but we have no idea, and we need a visa, so we're just trying to figure out what to do. And but there's no rush for the moment. No rush whatsoever. For when you did the HiFest illustration, you traced your copic shaded illustration on a device. Was that a light box? Do you mind sharing the model and the brand? Of course, Aiko! I don't know if you can see properly, but it's very thin. It's like thinner than an iPad, and it's called AGPTEK. AGPTEK. The name is very weird, but you plug it with a micro USB plug, and is an LCD. What is the name of it? A LED copy board. It's called, and the model is an A4 size, and it's very compact. It's very compact. I like it a lot, and this is what I use for tracing illustrations. I use this also to do the friendship book, and it's very handy to have. You can put it actually on a desk drawer, because it's very thin, and I love it. I love it a lot. Again, I'm going to leave all the information down below, Aiko, in case you want to check that out. And 5, I am a former baking blogger. Oh my god! But my first love is really art. Last August, I decided to open a new account on Instagram specifically for comics, mostly relating to baking. And you put there your address at Pickle Cherry Comics. What advice can you give to avoid burnout and ensure the longevity in sustaining the art account? So I think is to have a schedule and to respect that schedule, like uploading schedule, especially on Instagram accounts or like social media. It's great to have schedule and to upload when at the beginning you will have to be pretty regular in the sense of like how often do you upload, at least in the first year or 2 years when you're when your goal is to attract an audience, you have to be like really regular. So try to upload as much as you can, like every day or every other day, and try to upload things that you genuinely love instead of what everybody is uploading. I think that's the way of avoiding burnout, because at least when you're uploading things that you enjoy, you're having a good time. You're not stressed trying to stick to a schedule. So upload things that you genuinely love and you're interested in, and have a schedule. Try to, if you have a day job, try to work as much as you can during breaks or like on your way back home or during weekends, but try to rest, to sleep properly, to have a good time while you're doing this. And I think that's the best way of not getting burned out. And also try to see if you can see the signs before it's happening. So if you're like really tired, or your eyes twitching, or you're having migraines, or you feel stressed and anxious, I think it's a good choice and to like stop. I feel like meditating or doing yoga or go out for a run or for a walk and like just breathe very deeply, it alleviates the burnout situation. And then you said, I have followed you for years on Instagram. Oh my God, Aiko! Fred, I'm such a fan of your art style. It's not. It's only now that I joined Patreon, and it's kind of sad I only joined now. Oh my God, Aiko, really don't worry. I hope I joined sooner, since I love your Patreon post entries. Please keep them going. Enjoy Japan, Aiko. Thank you so much, Aiko. Thank you. I hope my answers help you in some way. Carmen Briseño says, hi Fran, I also have an Etsy shop, but I was wondering if you sell your items to other local shops, other thank you books, or is it mostly in-house? Have you tried taking your art to other locations? I always find that it's tricky because they want a huge cut of the profits, but I don't have the necessary followers or people interested to solely rely on my shop alone. Any advice? So Carmen, I think people call you China, if I remember correctly, but Carmen, what I do usually is, right now they're selling my items on the High Store here in Hastings, and there's a couple of shops interested in selling my stuff online. I mean online, on those physical shops. And usually shops, they ask for a commission for usually 30 to 40%, so that's a lot. Usually what I do is, there's no other way of saying this, but when you sell stuff on physical shops, you will make less money than if you do it online, or if you are the direct seller of those products. So usually, right now, for example, if I'm selling a product on High Store, I will cut a percentage of what I'm making in order, if that shop wants to charge 30% more, the total amount of the product is similar to the price that you will find in my online shop, maybe a little bit more. But I am doing this because I don't want people not being able to purchase my products, and I would hate that my products are way more expensive in real life, not in real life, but in a physical shop, because of this 30% extra that are trying to overcharge to my products. So that's what I do. I cut a little bit of my profit in order to make people, they have the possibility to pay sort of like the same price that you will find it online. And that's how I do it. I'm sorry, it sucks, but that's why it's very tricky to sell your stuff on physical shops. That's my most honest advice, and that's that's so far how I have been able to do it on physical shops, which my experience, it isn't that experience. I haven't done it that much, but that's at least what I do. Tiffy Butter asks, thank you, Fran. I have to say all the images that you chose for the Q&A post are the best. God. They're so funny. Thank you, Tiffy Butter. God. Anyway, this month I'm trying to improve my video quality and also style. Very nice, very nice. So can you talk about your filming equipments like cameras, tripods, lighting, etc.? And also, could you share a bit how you edit your videos? Thanks ahead. Can't wait to see your new book. Thank you, my love. It's tricky to explain how I edit videos because you will have to see it. I mean, I can show you guys if you want on a upcoming video. That'll be great, actually. But what I do right now, I'm not using any music because I'm trying to seize natural sounds, like the sound of when you're painting something, or like when you're using color pencils, or the sound of just like podcasts, or the actual things, the real things that I do while I'm filming, instead of putting songs. Because even though I love songs, I feel like they can be very distracting. And right now I'm trying to approach a more honest and vulnerable way of showing my life, how it is, without any music, because sometimes there's no music while I'm drawing or doing stuff. I am using Adobe Premiere, which is the software that Ed uses as well on his videos, and he taught me how to use Adobe Premiere, and I love it. It's very easy to use. I mean, it looks very complicated, but once you grasp the idea of how to use it, it's very easy. And the camera that I use right now is the Canon EOS M with a 22mm lens. I'm going to leave all of this down below, guys, by the way. And this camera is really old, but I got used to using it. I don't have even a flip screen, and that's why I started using a mirror. And I love it. I love this camera so much. And recently, I know you guys are going to ask me this on an upcoming question, but I just bought, I don't know if you can see it from here. There you go. I bought a tripod. I have been using this cheap tripod for such a long time. It's a Coleman tripod that I bought when we were living in Berlin, and back then it was really a huge investment, but I realized that over lots of years of hardcore use, it's not in its finest condition. So that's why we invested in a Manfrotto tripod. And this thing, guys, is a freaking beast. It was really expensive. It hurt to pay for this tripod, but I did it just because of you guys, because you helped me pay for it. And I'm going to leave all of these links down below, by the way. And this was a tripod that Holly bought. Holly is another like art YouTuber, and she recommended me this tripod because it's the one that she uses, and it's the most amazing tripod I've ever used, guys. It's insane. And I also bought a hand, sort of like an extension for this tripod, and that is this extension that I use to put my camera or my phone over my desk. So all of the scenes that you can see on top of my illustrations while I'm drawing on my desk are because of that extension, and it's the best thing that has ever happened to me. And that's it. Oh, we bought some cheap lights when we moved to London, because the lighting, guys, here in the UK, it's pretty difficult to vlog and to film, especially in winter when it gets dark at 3 p.m. And so we bought those lights. They were very cheap as well from Amazon. I'm going to leave also those lights in the description box. And that was basically it. Everything was very cheap, or like we did our best to buy cheap equipment, but unfortunately, like with this tripod, sometimes you have to invest in order stuff to last, and that's why we finally invested in a nice tripod. But most of the times, guys, I use natural lighting. It's very rare that I use the filming lights. Ed uses those filming lights. I don't, because I enjoy natural light more. And so what I do, I usually plan ahead all of my videos, and I try to film them during the morning or after lunch, like right now. And that's what I do. I would rather film with natural light all the time, even in winter, which is trickier, and videos tend to get, it's trickier to film them because you will need more time to film them, but I think it's totally worth it. So I hope I answered your question, TV Butter. Let me know. Misty Gray asks, "Hi Fran, I'm getting back into illustration after a long hiatus." Is that how you pronounce that word? And I am in the process of figuring out out my style illustrating voice. Welcome to the nightmare, Misty Gray. I keep thinking I need to tailor my illustrations, like draw certain things, compositions, to make myself more distinctive, because I have a tendency to draw pretty much anything. What do you think about this? So first of all, I don't think there's anything wrong with drawing pretty much anything. The thing is that the way of how you can tailor your illustration style or your voice is to draw the things that you're really interested in. If you genuinely feel interested in fungus, like mushrooms, like wild mushrooms, just draw that and go deep into that path, my friend. Because I feel like it's harder to find your voice as an illustrator, as an artist in general, even like writer or creative, any creative endeavor or career. I think it's more difficult to find a voice if you're doing what everybody else is doing than the things that you're really interested in. So that's my first advice. And you also asked me, I had this idea to do a YouTube channel about my painting journey, which is new. I am a linework and maker kind of gal, to cross-pollinate social networks and get my work out there. Will this be a good idea since it's not something I'm good at? Thank you so much for having these Q&As. Misty, this is what I'm for, baby, helping you. So I think that if you want to try something new and you think this YouTube thing might be something positive to you, and you don't and you want to try something new, do it. In that regard, I feel like YouTube is also a visual platform. So if you want to take that advantage and do something related to something visual, like a behind the scenes or things that you're experimenting, go for it. But if you think YouTube might not be the way, podcast is not that far away from that. I started having a YouTube channel because I wanted people to trust me when they bought on my shop, on my lunch shop, and also because it was easier for me to explain things on a video. But back then, podcast wasn't even a thing. So now I feel people have more options to cross-pollinate social media and their websites and so on. I feel like having platforms as a YouTube channel or a podcast in order people to go to other social medias like Instagram and your online shop or Twitter are a great method. I do cross-promotion all the time. YouTube helps me a lot with promoting new items on my shop or sharing a behind the scenes of my shop, or how I create illustrations for Instagram and stuff like that. So I feel it's great when you guys are sharing all the content on different platforms in different shapes, because they allow you to share different types of content. I wish I had, I guess, a podcast back then. I feel it's trickier because you can't see stuff with podcast, but at the same time, you can still share lots of stuff on Instagram, like visual things. I know there's a lot of people that now are vlogging or like sharing visual videos on Instagram. So if you feel like YouTube channel might be to like a big commitment, I will highly suggest that you start blogging on Instagram and that platform, because it allows you to be suddenly a YouTuber without having a YouTube channel. The only problem is that you will lose all those files because they get deleted after 24 hours. So there's not a record of your blogging situation on Instagram. So I think there's ups and downs to every platform, but think about it if you wanted to have a YouTube channel or a podcast or that sort of thing. If, for example, you have a very soothing voice and you feel like podcast might be a good idea for you to share your process and to put the visual stuff on your Instagram, that would be great. Andy DJ Pizza, one of my favorite podcasters, he's also an illustrator and he has an amazing podcast. So I highly suggest that you go and check out his content because he's great. And he's a perfect example of how an illustrator, a visual career like a professional, can also have not a visual platform like a podcast. So go and check that out, Misty, because You don't have to commit to YouTube if you don't want to have a YouTube, but YouTube is great as well. Lisa Rene asks, hi Fran, I have a couple of areas of interest. Very nice. One, Inktober. I would like to participate. How do I get started? How do I post? What are the guidelines? So I remember I shared this with you, Lisa, but Inktober, and you also share it here on Patreon, but Inktober, if you guys have no idea what Inktober is basically drawing one illustration made out of ink, one a day during October, and you upload it with Inktober, hashtag Inktober 2017, and all of the guidelines and rules and tips and tricks are available on Inktober, and lots of artists participate every year in Inktober. And it's great. You can upload everything to Instagram or to your blog or to Twitter and Facebook. So there's lots of platforms in which you can share your work, and that's it. My advice would be that try to have a theme or ideas already planned out, because when you're started, you're really excited and you just want to draw whatever, but when you're day 10 or 9, you sort of like not have that many ideas anymore. So I highly suggest that you either have a theme for this Inktober, or you have all of your ideas planned out. So for example, like day 1, I'm gonna draw my favorite fairy tale. That day 2, I'm gonna draw Alice in Wonderland. Day 3, I'm gonna draw my pets. Day 4, and so on. I think it's better to have the ideas already written down, because there's days in which you're not going to draw necessarily. You will not feel like drawing, so have ideas already planned out. 2, when we have drawings date with you, how do we share our drawings that we do while you're drawing? So please guys, help me on this one. Which hashtag or way should we have when we have drawing dates? I think that you could either tag me on Instagram, you can send me the pictures here on Patreon, or we should have a hashtag together. So please help me out on this one. I would love to hear your thoughts about this, because I would love to see your work, so let me know. 3, would you please talk about maybe make a video on steps you used to make a zine? I would love to do that, because I know a lot of people are very curious about this process, so I'll make sure to do a video about this in the near future. But thank you for reminding me, Lisa. I have been working on ideas for a scene for a while, but other than drawing the images out, I have no idea about what next steps to take. For example, should drawings be a certain size relative to the finished scene? Once all the pages of the scene are created, is scanning next? Well, it depends if you're doing digitally or like physically, but yes. Then how it is to put it into a format to be printed. Do you print yourself? Is there a program you use to scene for printing? Are you self-publishing, or is it someone else publishing your scenes? And anything else you can think about will be important. Thanks. So Lisa, all of my scenes are physical. I am not using tablets or Photoshop or digital painting anymore, not that often. And I usually scan everything, and I use a program called InDesign. But even if you do it on, for example, on Photoshop or Illustrator, it's totally okay. I am printing all of my scenes on Awesome Merge, because they're great, they're very cheap, the quality is pretty decent, and you can print them on full color. But I'm sure in the US there's tons of places in which you can print all of your scenes and small publications. And yes, I do self-publish all of my scenes, because I think it's a great investment, and you can keep all the money afterwards. You don't have to go to a publisher. And also, I don't know if there's publishers that publish. And also, I don't know if there's any publishers that do publish scenes, because scenes are like a very independent way of publishing stuff. So, but yeah, Lisa, thank you so much for inspiring me to do a video, because I can actually show you how I do it. And in this case, on Patreon Q&As, it's very hard for me to show you the process, but I will totally do this. Thank you so much for giving me this amazing recommendation. Samantha Leo says, wondering what's the tripod you use for your iPhone for the Instagram photo, could you share? That's the tripod. I'm gonna leave it down below, Sam. And then Lisa says, lastly, just found out that this is the official website for Inktober, and I found a video you posted about Inktober back in 2015. Oh my god, I totally forgot. Could you share anything about Inktober starting next month, please? I'm glad that you found the Inktober website, and I already gave a couple of advices, and if you guys have no idea what to draw, I will leave the video down below about what to draw when you have no idea what to draw, and my 30-day drawing challenge in case you wanna jump in this madness with me, guys. I mean, I'm not going to join Inktober this year because I will be away in Japan, but I wish you the best, my loves. I wish you the total best. And I'm going to do the January challenge next year. So Cecilia Ortiz asked in Spanish, so I'm going to translate for you guys. Do you have any advice for someone that hasn't studied, I mean college-wise, illustration, and this person wants to learn and develop in some way regarding illustrations? Because she was telling how I didn't study illustration, so she was asking me the process and how I did it. When you started studying this subject, did you realize you wanted to follow a certain method to learn it? Like first drawing, then inking, and then watercolor and so on? Or is something that it was something like spontaneous? What type of advice would you give to people that are constantly telling me that I'm losing my time and I won't be able to live from this? Oh my god, Cecilia, what a horrible nightmare. Okay, first of all, I didn't have any method, I just went along with it. I read tons of books, not about how to be an illustrator, but people that already were illustrators. I read all of the books called Illustration Now, which is basically a catalog of illustrators, and I started writing down names of the illustrators that I was really inspired by. And so none of the books were how to illustrate. I sort of like started illustrating how I think it was a good idea to illustrate. And I was illustrating anime back then. So I started from anime, but I tried to modify my style towards my inspiration, so my references. And that was basically it. Reading lots of blogs. Back then blogs were the thing. Lots of blogs of illustrators and trying to get inspired. And in the beginning I tried to keep it as simple as possible. So in the beginning I was just like drawing with pencils and like with mechanical pencils, and then I already have kind of like a style, so I'm gonna start adding stuff up. And that was the time when I started learning how to use Photoshop for painting. I bought my first Wacom Bamboo, which is a really small tablet, and I started drawing with in Photoshop and with digital painting. And then a couple of years later I fell in love with copic markers, and I started with copic markers. And it was just up until recently where I started painting with watercolors, but it was sort of like a very natural process of getting curious about something, getting interested about something, and then dipping my toes into something new. But it was a very natural process for me. I never forced it. Back then there was a lot of people that told me that I was crazy, Cecilia, like crazy. I was actually dating Ed back then, and Ed, it was a playwright and I was an illustrator, or I wanted to be an illustrator, and everybody was like, you're going to be poor all of your life, you're not going to succeed. Illustration is such a new career, especially it was a new career back in Chile back then. Like I didn't know anyone who was an illustrator, so I felt pretty alone. They were like, no one knew about illustration. There wasn't many blogs or YouTube, not even like YouTube channels, like no one was doing this. So I felt pretty, not discouraged, but alone. I had no idea you could be an illustrator professionally. So I just went with my gut and I kept working. I think something that I developed from that time was grit, and the idea that I had to keep working when this, if I wanted to make it work and to be someone. And I knew that if I wanted to at least pop out, like be someone or to be better than the average, I needed to work extra harder. And that's why I kept staying. I stay up until very late, just like doing research and practicing and illustrating. And it was really hard, but I was having so much time during that time, Cecilia. I never took it as a sacrifice or anything, because I was genuinely having fun and discovering myself throughout this new gap, like this new thing that I was doing. And I remembering my older sister saying me like, are you crazy if you think you're going to live drawing rabbits all day or like cats all day? And it was very sad when she told me this. Of course, like right now we have a really good relationship, and we had an amazing relationship even back then, but I think that she was projecting her insecurities in me because I was still in college, and in college you are not that worried about what you're going to do, you're just worried about learning and having good grades. So when she told me like, if you expect you're going to live from drawing cats 24/7, you're crazy, and I'm like, oh my god, maybe she's right. But then I made it work. I think the good thing about being scared is that you're really worried and you're really determined to make it work, just to prove people wrong and to prove yourself wrong. So I wish you the best, Cecilia. If I did it, you can totally do it. Believe me, I had zero skills back then. And I learned everything along the way. I never took classes, I never took workshops, I never paid for any classes or anything. I studied graphic design, but it was because I thought I wanted to be a graphic designer, but you don't need to study graphic design. So all of the tools that you need are out there, they're for free. You just have to take the time to have a schedule. So for example, just like take 1 hour a day to make this work. So for example, Mondays like sketch, Tuesdays have a day to learn body language and like proportions. Day 3, like Wednesdays you can like do some research on coloring with copic markers, with watercolors. You can watch tutorials. There's tons of tutorials now online. So all of the tools are out there. You just have to make the time and to be consistent and determined. But believe me, I had so many people telling me that I was so crazy and wrong, and now they'll all regret all the things that they told me. No, I'm kidding. But it feels nice that now they're very happy for me, and I'm very happy for myself. I hope I answer your question, Cecilia. Adeline, she asks, dear fan, no question this time, but a suggestion. Maybe you could draw stickers of the cutest things you see in Japan. Oh my god, this is actually an amazing idea. Would you love to have a planner or regular stickers of these? Hope you have an awesome week. Much love and many hugs. Thank you, Adeline. Of course, I really want to do more stickers because I know the ones I have, I love them, but I think I need to expand my sticker game range because I do love stickers and I want to sell more. So thank you for this suggestion, Adeline. And last but not least, also from Adeline, one question. If I make it in time, will you be setting a new target for Patreon now that you have reached your new goal? PS, not sure how Patreon works. Yes, it's insane because it will mean that it will be like a $4,000 pledge, which I think it will be insane. But yeah, of course, if you have any suggestions of like cool or fun stuff that we can do together, that would be amazing, guys. But yeah, I think that this is it. If you have further questions about these topics, please don't never doubt and ask me. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful questions. in this amazing and super secret Patreon Q&A. I can't believe we did it again. I can't believe it's already this time of the month in which I have to answer this question, guys. Time is passing, it's flying by so fast. But yeah, I'm gonna keep you posted with all of the traveling updates and all of the new products that I want to launch for this, not already this year, because you already saw all of that, but next year, because I love sharing my work situation with you guys. And I'm gonna leave all the links down below of all the things that I mentioned. And I think that's it, because now I have to film more videos for you guys. So have a wonderful Wednesday, have a lovely week. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for your generous monthly support. I can't believe, you guys, what you're doing. You're crazy. You're even crazier than I am. So yeah, kudos to you guys. I love you guys so much. Please let me know if you think about a hashtag for sharing the work that you guys do with me on our live stream sessions. And yeah, I hope you're having a wonderful day. I love you so much. Bye guys. Bye. Thank you for your questions.